Well, everybody is always looking, of course, at the Chinese economy because of its size, but we've got some elections coming up and some other issues about their currency that traders are watching. Our guest today is Kathy Lien, here to talk about that. Kathy, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
All right, what are some things that traders need to be aware of with China in the coming months?
Well, basically, we've got the midterm elections coming up in the U.S. And whenever we have the midterm elections, a lot of political backlash as senators around the world, senators around the country, try to point fingers on what's going on in the U.S. economy and who's causing it. So lately, there's been a lot of scrutiny on China and their undervalued currency. We all know that China has an undervalued currency, but in order to kind of drum up a little political support, we've got a lot of senators saying China needs to be branded a currency manipulator because their the weak yuan is the one that's taking away jobs from America. So I think it's in the headlines, and that's the reason why a lot of people are focusing on it.
And at some point, every year, people start focusing on, are they going to float their currency? And it never seems to happen. I mean, are we any closer now than we were even a year ago?
Well, every year we do get a little closer. But I think the more imminent issue is that, first of all, like I said, the elections are in November. We've got the U.S. Treasury coming out with the semi-annual report on currency manipulation October 15th. And then we also have the G20 finance ministers and central bankers meeting in the early part of October. So China always likes to make their reevaluation moves at politically prudent times. And the reason why they do that is that they want to engineer more praise and criticism when they come up to these meetings. So the Chinese yuan has hit record highs, and I think that we could see another big move by China, basically around October, even maybe before that, when you hit these big key events.
All right, as a trading opportunity, what should I be looking for? Should I trade the currency itself, maybe an ETF? What are your recommendations?
Well, for those of you that can access the ETF, then there's a couple of them out there. You could, just get into the Chinese yuan ETF. But for those people who are looking at it more of a trading opportunity, I would suggest maybe the US dollar or the Japanese yen, because if China were to revalue its yuan, it means that they don't need to hold as many US dollars. So the impact of a surprise revaluation would be, negative for the US dollar. At the same time, it would be positive for the Japanese yen because, Japan is a competitor to China. So and they're also proxy for Asia. So when China revalues the yuan, it kind of relieves the pressure on Japan to intervene in the currency, which should be yen bullish.
There's a lot to keep track of when you're talking about these international currencies. How's a trader to kind of take all this information in and try to decide what information is important and what is not?
Well, that's sort of my job for the market, and I do write about this every single day at fx360.com. So I encourage people to go on there, read about what I believe is the big stories in the market, and what could happen in the coming weeks.
Thanks for your time, Kathy.
My pleasure.